All right. Well, good morning. It's a great morning. How's everybody doing? All right, all right. I know it's rainy outside, it's gloomy, but we're going to have a good time inside. We've got a lot of shining stars here this morning to honor, and they're going to light up this room, so we're going to have a great time. My name is Vicki Thomas. I'm the City Beat reporter for WWJ News Radio 950. And how many of my listeners are in here by a show of hands? All right. All right, if you are not a listener, I invite you to tune in. It's AM 950. That's a shameless plug, but you know how that goes. Any of our elected officials here, if they could stand and be acknowledged. Councilman Benson. And I think some more will be joining us later. Let me remind you now to put your phones on vibrate so that you won't get any dirty looks if your phone goes off during the middle of the program. Again, I'm with WWJ Radio, and I was last week at this time, I was preparing. East Point Councilman? All right. Thank you for being here. This time last week, I was preparing to be inducted into the Michigan Journalism Hall of Fame. So yeah, thank you so much. And I want to acknowledge the City Council publicly for presenting me with the Spirit of Detroit Award, and Council President Brenda Jones was in cahoots with some of my friends and colleagues and throwing me a surprise party last Saturday night, and she presented me with that award. So thank you to all the council members for that. This is a great day to acknowledge people who are going above and beyond. They're working harder and they're working smarter to protect our environment. And that is a big deal to me. I mean, I don't think that we can be so selfish that we live our lives and not think about the generations to come after us. So I'm extremely thrilled to be here this morning to help recognize those who are doing the work. Also, on Monday, as you know, it's International Earth Day. And I couldn't be in a better place because, as I was telling Councilman Benson or Kerwin, I'm going to do some interviews so I get to get a little work out of the way, and I'll be prepared to do some great stories on Earth Day after interviewing our keynote speaker and some of the honorees this morning. So I'll be all set for Monday. I can coast on Monday, so this is great. At this time, I'd like to bring up the man who makes it all happen, Detroit Councilman Scott Benson, who is chair of the City Council's Green Task Force. And I want to really acknowledge the council for starting this task force and keeping it going, because it's very important that we do this. Councilman Benson.
All right, good morning, everyone. All right, so today is 2 days before Earth Day. We are having our award ceremony. So I'm going to ask you all to do a little bit better than that. Something that we haven't been doing for a number of years, but today, this is the day that we honor our sustainability warriors and our warriors who are fighting to keep the city and our earth green. So let's try this again. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Fantastic. So once again, my name is Councilman Scott Benson, and it is an honor and a privilege to come before you today. So this is our third year doing our Earth Day celebration and our awards for our recipients and our city residents. So this is something that was started by Councilman Ken Cockrell and passed along to me. And so when I started this job, Councilman Cockrell asked, would you think that you would be interested in doing something of this nature? And so I thought for 10 seconds, and I said yes. Yes, I would, because I knew what we had here and what type of community that we have who is really responding to and protecting and keeping the earth in the city of Detroit green, and where we had a chance to go. And so when we talk now, after 5 years of doing the Green Task Force, we have now been able to implement policy. So right now, we're working on a greenhouse gas ordinance that's going to set the standards for the greenhouse gas emissions that we have in the city of Detroit. And so we're looking for some very aggressive numbers, and we're seeing what others are doing around the country. We want Detroit to be the tip of the spear. We don't want to just uphold the standard. We want to be the ones that set the standard. And so we want to be the tip of the spear, and we're looking for your feedback and your support on that. And so where's Kerwin Wimberly? Where's Kerwin Wimberly? Kerwin Wimberly. So everybody give Kerwin Wimberly a big round of applause. Then I also just want to say, where's my staff? Where's the staff of Councilman Scott Benson? Raise your hand. Don't be shy, staff. Don't be shy. My senior task force, too. So these awards and this type of work wouldn't be possible without them. It's easy for me to get up here and talk and take the flash bulbs and everything, but it's the people behind the scenes who are doing the hard work that makes this possible, which includes, where's the Green Task Force? Where are my members of the Green Task Force? Stand up. Green Task Force, stand up. Now please give them a round of applause. This is the brain power, the sweat equity, and those who are willing to do that type of work to put this type of mission and this philosophy forward. Where is Joel? Joel, stand on up. The Office of Sustainability. So Joel is here, and this is how the charter talks about the need to have an Office of Sustainability, and Joel is our plank owner. In military speak, that means he is the first person to take hold of this office and run with it. So you're seeing the city, the administration, the mayor's office is now taking on green. And so when we talk about this, it's easy for us just to talk, but we have to have those who implement. And Joel is one of the ones who's helping make sure that we implement this. And we're working with his office to make sure that the ordinance that will be approved by the Detroit City Council will be one that the sustainability community loves and is willing to stand behind and say we support this and we're proud of the direction that the city of Detroit is going when it comes to being green. So for me, the Earth Day Celebration Awards are very, very important. How many of you were being honored and recognized for your work 10 years ago in this space? Yeah. So now it's very important that we do that because this is not easy work. And this is a work that is a passion. And typically, most of us in this space are not compensated the way that we should be. But it takes these type of awards to make sure that the city of Detroit knows and the region knows that we want and we respect and we need your voices and we need your work in this space. And we want to just do something on a fun day to say, hey, it doesn't have to always be hard work and pain. It can be fun too. Let's come out and give somebody some awards. Let's recognize people for what they're doing in the city. Let's recognize our companies. Let's recognize our advocates. Let's recognize our youth who are in this space and help keep people here as well and make sure that people know what we're doing in the city of Detroit and we honor and respect that. So it also takes supporters. So Green for Life. How many of you know who Green for Life is? I do. They pick up my solid waste. If it wasn't for Green for Life, I wouldn't have any solid waste being picked up. I wouldn't like that. So Green for Life also recognizes what it means and how important this community is in the work that you're doing. And so when we ask somebody, hey, you know what, we want to do an award ceremony, we need some breakfast, we need awards, we want to do an event that people are proud of. This is not just a creaky wheelbarrow and a three-tooth rake. This is a serious and significant event that we want people to be proud of and come to and be willing to bring their families. And so Al Jordan from Green for Life, he rogered up when that request went out. And Al, come on up here. Come on up here. And so I want to just get a few words from our sponsor today, but Green for Life rogered up and said, yes, we do appreciate this, and we want to make sure that people know that we on the corporate side also support, and we were going to support not just with some words and other flowery talk. We're actually going to put our pocketbook behind this and make sure that we have an event that people can be proud of. So Al, we're going to come and give a few words.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. I bring you greetings from Lou Barrett Riccardi. That's a mouthful. Our Executive Vice President and the rest of the Green for Life team. I want to thank Councilman Benson as well as the Green Task Force for allowing us to participate in this event. In this very small way, it allows us to say thank you to the organizations and the grassroots folks who put in the work every day. Thank you.
All right.
All right, I was just informed that we're doing something really great today, as we should be doing every day, recycling. So everything on that table except for the jelly packet is going to be recycled. And so when you discard your waste, there are bins on the right side of the room as well as the left side of the room. So let's make sure we do that. Now I would like to introduce Joel Harani Harris from the mayor's office, and she's here. She's from the Office of Sustainability. She's the director, or he, Joel. Hi, come on up. I have a friend, her name is Joel, and she's a woman,
Oh.
so that's what I was thinking.
Good morning. Hope everyone's doing great this rainy spring morning. So thanks to Councilman Benson's office for allowing us to play a part in that. So again, my name is Joel Harani Harris. I'm director of the first Office of Sustainability at the City of Detroit. I'd like my two staff, I think they're here, Nishat and Whitney, to stand up and wave your hands and say hi. So first off, I want to really thank you guys for all of your work, because we know that moving environmental sustainability forward in this city is not an easy task, and it's not always something that you get a lot of thanks for. So thank you to all of your efforts on this. We know it takes a village truly to move this forward, and I thank you for all your work on this. But I also wanted to announce, you can advance it. I also wanted to announce that today is a really exciting anniversary for my office, because a year ago, actually at this very event, we kicked off the engagement for the Sustainability Action Agenda. And we actually distributed surveys throughout the crowd that day, and many of you filled those out. And so actually we've done a whole variety of engagement through the Action Agenda, including we did over 1,500 surveys. We did town halls. We had 14 sustainability ambassadors out in the community talking to neighbors. I see that Tommy, who was one of our ambassadors, is being honored today. And so it was really, did an amazing amount of touches in the community. We had over 7,000 people interactions that we talked to. How many people filled out a survey or participated in some way? Awesome, thank you, thank you. How many people came to another event or talked to an ambassador throughout the year? All right, great. So thank you so much for your input, because again, we needed to craft an agenda that's truly inclusive of all Detroiters and all the needs in this community. You can advance. Natalie? Okay, yeah. No problem. So we have a number of folks that are helping to guide us, including you and engagement with you, but also our Sustainability Advisory Commission, which Councilman Benson is part, and also our interdepartmental work group. Next slide. So we've crafted a vision for the Sustainability Action Agenda based on all of this extensive input. And we really believe that healthy, thriving Detroiters need to be at the core of it. You can advance to the next slide. And so you can see that healthy, thriving people, unless we're focusing on that, I don't think that we're focusing on the right thing. But we know that people need to live in affordable, high-quality homes. They need to be in clean, connected neighborhoods. And then they overall need to be in an equitable green city. So you can go on to the next slide, Natalie. So we have 10 overall goals. And so what we talk about is for people to be healthy and thriving, they have to have access to clean air, clean green spaces, and healthy food, and also economic opportunity to advance in the green economy. And so that's really how we're seeing how Detroiters can become more healthy and thriving. And then affordable, high-quality homes. We want homes to be highly energy efficient, highly water efficient, and free of hazards like lead that can impact children's learnings for years to come. And then around clean, connected neighborhoods, do people have access to reducing their waste through recycling, through reuse, through composting? Are they able to connect to the internet to access those economic opportunities we talked about? Are they able to connect transportationally by biking or walking or taking the bus where they need to go? Is it connected in that realm? And then finally, we talk about an equitable green city. So overall, are Detroiters able to thrive in the face of climate change and the impacts that we see coming? And are we all able to pitch in, organizations big and small, groups of all sorts, to reduce our climate impacts? And I'm very happy to be partnering with Councilman Benson on the upcoming ordinance that's coming down the pike. So that's just a brief snapshot of the action agenda. I wanted to let you know, next slide, So our timeline is aggressive. We're actually in the midst of editing the first draft of this with a lot of your input, and thank you if you've provided input to that. And we're planning to launch the action agenda and a number of exciting actions within that in June. If you're not on our listserv already, you can go to detroitmi.gov/sustainability and make sure you know about the launch events, because just as we've really needed your help to get input and get your thoughts to craft the sustainability action agenda, we're also going to need your help and assistance at implementing this. And so I know many of you have been doing this work for years before my office existed, and I'm glad to continue to partner with you going forward, and very excited to be part of this breakfast where many folks will be honored for their work in this world. So again, thank you so much for all your work, and I look forward to working together more.
Good job, Joel. All right, our next speaker is Mayor Mike Duggan's representative on Motor City Makeover, Mona Ali. Come on up, Mona.
Hi everyone, my name is Mona Ali. I'm the District 7 manager with the Mayor's Office. I am also this year's Motor City Makeover chairperson. I just wanted to remind everyone that the first 3 Saturdays in May, we will be doing district-wide cleanups, May 4th, 11th, and the 18th. You can find information on how to register at motorcitymakeover.org, and you can also find information on kickoff events that will be happening in every district starting this week. So it's very important that you register so that you can come out to these kickoff events and get our limited supplies of t-shirts, gloves, garbage bags, lawn bags, and register with us to make sure that we have your special pickups down and any dumpster requests that you may have. Thanks to our great sponsors this year, we have multiple dumpsters per weekend that will be available and special pickups going on all month long. One of our sponsors is here, Green for Life. Thank you again for sponsoring those. And also, just to point out, if you have any projects that require volunteers, this would also be a good time to register. Speak to your district manager. If you do not have the volunteer base in your neighborhood, we can link you up to a group that is willing to help. So we have multiple school groups, corporations, and businesses in the area that have committed their time and their employees to help assist in some of these projects. So even if it's not in May, we should be able to get to all the projects throughout the summer. So please reach out to us and let us know the need in your neighborhood and what project you would like to do this year to beautify your community. And again, just to remind you, that is motorcitymakeover.org, and you can visit the website to register and to get information on the kickoff events in your individual districts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, and I think it's a real coup to have him here today. And when I was introduced to him this morning, I looked at him and I said, after reading your bio, I expected someone a little longer in the tooth, maybe. But Dr. Michael K. Dorsey is a recognized expert on global energy, environment, finance, and sustainability matters. He's a graduate of the University of Michigan. I'm a Spartan, though. I'm a Spartan, but you know. Also a graduate of Yale and the Johns Hopkins University. And for the first decade of the 21st century, Dr. Dorsey was a professor in the Environmental Studies program at Dartmouth College. He is a trained social forester. You'll have to tell us what that deals with a legacy of work protecting biodiversity and promoting conservation, especially in forests in the United States and abroad. Dr. Dorsey is a leader in for-profit, nonprofit, scholarly, and governmental realms. He maintains active relationships and agreements with various institutions and individuals driving the global renewable revolution. Presently, Dr. Dorsey is a partner in Univergy, and I'm sure you'll talk about that, CC, which is a Spanish-Japanese solar entity. Dr. Dorsey's significant engagements and accomplishments include 11 years on the National Board of the Sierra Club, full member of the Club of Rome, In 1992, he was a member of the State Department delegation of the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, the Earth Summit. From 1994 to 1996, he was a task force member of President Clinton's Council on Sustainable Development. In 1997, he was the recipient of the Paul Harris Medal for Distinguished Service to Humanity. That's a big deal. 2007 to 2008, he was a member of President, then Senator Barack Obama's Energy and Environment Presidential Campaign Team. 2010, 2012, and 2014, he was appointed to and served on the EPA's National Advisory Committee. In 2013, he was named as one of 200 U.S. energy and environment expert insiders. In 2014, he was United Nations Advisor on Climate, Energy, Sustainability, and Small Island Developing States. So that is one heck of a resume. And wait till you see this guy, right? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Michael K. Dorsey, our keynote speaker.
Good morning. They say your power is inversely proportional to the length of your introduction. So let that be a lesson to all of you and myself as well. Blessed Passover, happy Passover, and blessed Easter to everybody. I want to take a few seconds to get you thinking about a situation that some of us face, hopefully, at least once a day, and maybe the lucky few of us a couple times a day. What can you do? What can we do in 45 minutes? I want you to put your mind on that. What can you do? What can we do? What can be done in 45 minutes? Not an hour, not 30 minutes, definitely not 15, and I promise I'm not going to talk for 45 minutes. What can you do in 45 minutes? Start thinking about that. Some of you might be able to take a nap, one of those power naps. Some of you take them in your offices. If you're a bit wiser, you might have a wonderful conversation with your auntie or with your uncle. My auntie's sitting down here, so I have to recognize that, her, Auntie Judy. You might go for a run or a walk, a short one, but an intense one. You might even take some time out of that crazy schedule and get that checkbook balanced. 45 minutes. You might take some time to take your car and get an oil change if you pick the right place to do it, you know. You might even do something that few of us even do anymore. Write a thank you note by hand and get it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and get it in the mail. Or you might even take that note, that writing, that handwritten note a step further and write a love note to someone you care about in those 45 minutes. Think about it. What can you do in 45 minutes? We can do a lot. We can share love. We can share gratitude. We can share appreciation. We can get ourselves a little bit more fit, get the car together a little bit better. A lot can happen in 45 minutes. 45 minutes, I want to tell you today, and I want to leave it with you, is a powerful time period. I believe it's perhaps, for what I do, particularly on the business side, one of the most powerful time periods. Some of y'all probably wondering, well, what is he on about? What is he getting us down? Where is he taking us? Well, I'll tell you that in 45 minutes, the sun that we can't quite see on this rainy day today puts down enough energy on the earth to power everybody on this planet for a whole year. In 45 minutes. 45 minutes, we get enough energy from the sun to power the entire planet, not 100 years ago, not 200 years ago, today, with today's somewhat wasteful, not quite efficient, overly fossil fuel heavy energy use. The sun drops that amount of energy for the whole planet, all of humanity, in 45 minutes to power everybody. And if you do that little math over the year, some of y'all quickly doing it, I know. You got your phones out, when even though they told you to put them on silent and everything. You can power the planet for 11 millennia in just 1 year of the sun's energy. 11,000 years. Take us back to the founding of Jericho, which is, I think, apocryphal given the weekend. So 45 minutes is a powerful amount of time. It's a time that we really can rethink how we have our relationship with energy and power. And I want to put your mind in that for the next few minutes, the next, say, 10 minutes. Because we live in a world where not only can we harness the sun, not only are companies like mine doing that, but we live in a world where we have to commit our institutions in government, commit corporations, sometimes not just get them to come along on that journey, but push and pull like so many of these warriors for sustainability have been doing. To not just harness the sun, which we can do, but harness the wind, harness water. And it's that idea that I want to refocus your mind on, this idea of making commitments. I think everyone in this room can follow and should follow the passion of these amazing sustainability warriors by doing what I think are the three essential things that all of them, I believe, are doing, because I've been reading what they've been up to, as I was telling Sally and her work down in Rouge. And I think we all can get behind them by doing three things. I think we've got to focus on looking out and never settling. That's number one. We've got to focus on solving problems and seizing opportunities. And we got to focus on cooperation. So how's that going to work? How are we going to look out and never settle? How are we going to look at tackling problems and seizing opportunities? And how are we going to cooperate? Well, I think if we're going to get on with looking out and never settling and looking forward and not settling, we got to get beyond what I like to call those so-so climate agreements. Right? So-so climate agreements. Now, having been there in Paris, I think I can say it was a so-so climate agreement. Many of y'all already know in the room that it was. Without going into the details and sort of staying clear of all the technical things, we had an agreement that the planetary leaders said, well, we'll try to reduce the emissions by 20%. Well, we'll try to increase renewable energy standards by 20%. Well, we'll try to tackle energy efficiency and increase it by 20%. We like to call it in a shorthand that 20-20-20 agreement. I call it, 4/5 too short. And it's voluntary. And it's voluntary. It seems like, changing the world is now the wingman of protecting those who are on the top. 4/5 too short. You know, think about it. You know, if you, back in the day for some of you, but not back in the day for some because they were handing out the bags and the bottles, those little gentlemen. What if they made up 1/5 of their bed? You know? What if you back in the day got just 1/5 of the bed together? You know, do you get your allowance for just getting 1/5 of the bed together? You know, it's like generosity is the wingman of injustice. You know, 4/5 too short. We've got to look at looking out and never settling, and certainly not settling for that thing which is 4/5 too short. 100% renewable energy is possible and it's happening. 100% renewable energy is possible and it's happening. That 5/5, that 100% is possible and it's happening. It's happening in small towns. One of my favorites is the folks in Greensburg, Kansas. Some of y'all probably heard about that town. After a catastrophic tornado, they got on the stick. Tiny little town, 1,400 people. But not to be outdone, Georgetown, Texas, a little bit bigger, 70,000 folks. Made that commitment, 100% renewable energy. And they didn't make the commitment for the future, they've already achieved it. They've already achieved it. In Texas, a little bit more with wind. Chelan City, Washington, in Washington State, not too far behind, a little bit bigger than Georgetown. Same thing, they've achieved that 100% renewable energy commitment. But it's not just happening in small towns. It's happening in big towns, like Tacoma, Washington, Seattle, Washington. Seattle, Washington, for those of you who know, just a little bit bigger than Detroit. Made that 100% commitment. In fairness, Seattle is 96, but I'll round up, you know. Us recovering faculty can do that, you know. But they made that commitment and they're standing by and they're delivering that 100% commitment. They didn't plot it into the future. Happening in even bigger places. Not just Tacoma and Seattle, but British Columbia, the whole province, Western Canada. They're 97%, but I'll round up again on them too. Happening in countries, Norway. We can harness the sun and the wind and water. We can do that. We're making commitments because people in Michigan are looking forward and not settling. Traverse City, they haven't achieved it yet, but they made that commitment. Maybe y'all know. 100% commitment to 2040. But because folks just down the road in Ann Arbor, you know, just a little bit farther south of those Spartans, since they weren't going to settle with 2040, they said we're going to make that achievement in 2035. And just across the way in Grand Rapids, they said, well, we're not going to settle either. We're going to make that commitment for 2025. Well, like the member said, Councilman, this town has got to be the tip of the spear. If we're going to be the tip of the spear, looks like we're going to have to get underneath 2025. You can't be the tip of the spear. You can't be the tip of the spear and be beyond those who aren't settling. If you want to be the tip of the spear, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to follow those awardees here that aren't settling and are looking forward and looking around the corner. But you've also got to focus on that second thing, which I think all these awardees are doing. Solving problems and seizing opportunities. Solving problems and seizing opportunities. And we got some opportunities to obtain, and we got some problems to solve coming soon. In 73 days, 2 months and change, the past governor's appointment on the Public Service Commission's clock is going to tick out. His clock is going to tick out. So we have an opportunity to seize, to inspire the current governor, bless her heart, we appreciate her, who's down with the Paris Agreement that we know is not enough, because that's what we started a few seconds ago. We got an opportunity to encourage her to get us that new commissioner that's going to drive the change that we need. I had the pleasure of being at the Green Task Force meeting just a couple days ago, the monthly meeting. It was a pleasure and a wonderful invite to see that process. And I had the fortune of meeting the new environmental justice advocate for the state, Advocate Strong. Many of you all know Sister Strong. Well, if we're going to seize opportunities and tackle problems, maybe we need to talk about an energy justice advocate. Maybe we need to talk about that. But I'll tell you, as we face down some of the problems and seize these opportunities in our state, we also have to be still looking out and looking forward to what's going on globally, because we sit in global context. So on the problem side, fossil fuel investments are way up. They're up too high. Thankfully, coal is only up 1%. Actually, just under 1% to be true. Oil is up, just above 1%. Gas is up too. Investments in gas up almost 5%. But I'll tell you, those that are looking out and looking to seize opportunities, they're driving wind investments that are up 3 times over gas investments. Those that are seizing opportunities are driving solar investments, up almost 20 times of those coal and those gas investments, over 30% just last year. The future is clear. There are opportunities, but there are problems at the same time. And if we have the leadership that's inspired by these awardees, we're going to get out ahead of those problems and tackle those opportunities. But I'll tell you, though, that on the economic side, the opportunities are only available and accessible to those that are doing that, looking forward, to those that have that foresight. They got a lot of foresight. An Amtrak ride away in Chicago. 100% commitment Chicago just made. They were following on the governor's commitment. Wisconsin followed as well. 100% commitment the governor put forward to decarbonize the state's electricity supply. But way out there, by 2050. But he wasn't going to be beat. Minnesota followed just a few weeks ago with a 100% commitment to get to carbon-free power. And our good governor is, the new governor is backing Paris. But we know that's not enough. We can do better in Michigan. We can do better in Detroit. We can do better. We will do better. And that's what being on the tip of the spear means. We got over 100,000 clean energy jobs and growing. Michigan is the largest contributor of clean energy jobs in the entire Midwest. So we have the catalyzing forces here. We've got to leverage them. But lastly, by way of conclusion, not only do we have to watch out for those problems and seize those opportunities, we got to do that third thing that these awardees, I think, are doing. And it shows wonderfully well in their work. They're cooperating. They're cooperating with government, with other activists, environmental justice activists, climate justice activists. They're cooperating with businesses. They're holding businesses accountable. And that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to do that with some local folks in Michigan. We just began a cooperation with the folks at Hawks and Associates. Dwight, where you at? Raise your hand. Dwight Hawks, Hawks and Associates, one of the region's growing energy efficiency companies. We're looking to build a new relationship with Hawks and Associates. We've been cooperating with solar companies here in this state and abroad, in Japan, in Spain, across Africa, particularly in Southern Africa, in South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Zambia, Namibia, in India. We're cooperating. We've been cooperating so much that in 6 years, we built just over 3 gigawatts of installed power. And I like to say that that's 25 times what Michigan has installed. So if you're going to be at the tip of the spear, we got a lot of work to do here. But that takes me back to where I began. What can you do in 45 minutes? What will you do in 45 minutes? You can certainly share that love with a handwritten note. You can share that appreciation with that same, with a different handwritten note. But you can also get on with the plan, the beginnings of that plan, that draft plan that's inspired by these awardees, that plan for change in your backyard, at your house, in your neighborhood, in this great city, in my city, in the city that I love, the city where I was born, the city where I work, in this state, in this region. You can take your 45 minutes and get on with it, and remember that a tremendous power is delivered to this earth in 45 minutes to keep all the lights on for everybody for those 45 minutes. Thank you.
Come on, I think that deserves a standing ovation. I mean, that was wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Dorsey. That was very thought-provoking. I have to let some of that sink in, honestly, really. But thank you for your remarks this morning. Now for the recognition part of the ceremony this morning, I'd like to bring back Councilman Scott Benson from District 3, Councilman Gabe Leland from District 7, Roy, he's here? It's just two? And District 4, Councilman Andre Spivey. We'd also like to bring Joel back up.
Gabe Leland is here.
Gabe Leland is here. Yep, come on up, Gabe. Councilman Gabe Leland. Joel, if you could come back up, as well as Mona. These first awards are going out to residents from each district working to clean up and beautify their neighborhoods. And as your name is called, please make your way to the stage for recognition. And Councilman Scott Benson will be helping me with the awards this morning. From District 1, the award is going to Doug Russell and Thomas Obioha. I hope I pronounced that right. Obioha. Close. They're with Detroit Block Works, which redevelop vacant lots used for illegal dumping and transform them into a vibrant community space. This community space has a picnic area, barbecue grills, raised beds for gardening and flowers, a little free library, and a walking path. Detroit Block Works is credited with cleaning up over 800 tires from the neighborhood in coordination with the city of Detroit. Let's hear it for Doug and Thomas. Congratulations. All right, from District 2, the award is going to Galen Hardy. Galen is a tireless advocate for recycling and environmental justice. He has a huge fan club, I see. He attends block club meetings to teach residents how to recycle and to tell them why it's a matter of environmental justice. He is a passionate and persuasive leader. His presentations have helped make the city cleaner and greener. Thank you, Galen. Scott, you're reading the next one.
All right. And then from the great proud district number 3, we have Erin Cole and her husband, Magnificent Son. And they've created
Magnetic.
Magnetic Sun, and they've created a community garden in District 3 that is a true community gathering place on the same block where their family has lived for 3 generations. They have reclaimed several deserted lots and built a garden pavilion with solar panels and a water storage system. They have developed their business to become a regular vendor at Easter Market, providing homegrown vegetables from their gardens.
All
Congratulations.
And the District 4 awardee is Tammy Black. Tammy is president of the Manistee Block Club and has spearheaded the Community Treehouse Center that will be powered by solar energy. The Community Treehouse Center will be a green and healthy space with educational programming for the community. Tammy is an advocate for teaching children about sustainability, green technology, greening and growing, and is building a treehouse in District 4 that provides horticultural therapy to neighborhood children. She is currently working on a project which aligns with her programming offered at the Community Treehouse Center to install solar panels on over 25 homes in the Jefferson Chalmers community. That's awesome.
Then the District 5 award goes to Gwendolyn Peoples. All right, Ms. Peoples. Gwendolyn Peoples has been instrumental in hosting recycling workshops at her church. Thanks to her efforts, the Sacred Heart Church has a recycling dumpster on premises. Gwendolyn also reaches out to other churches and encourages them to host recycling workshops. She is dedicated to helping initiate this sustainable practice throughout her community. Thank you, Miss Peoples, District 5 awardee. All right. The District 6 awardee is Dr. Dolores Leonard. Dr. Leonard is an extremely passionate and dedicated advocate for environmental issues in her community, the 48217 zip code, which is the most polluted in the state. For years, she has fought with her neighbors for air monitoring in the neighborhood, resulting in a monitor at New Mount Hermon Baptist Church in the community. A retired educator, Dr. Leonard speaks with clarity and precision to the media, corporations, city council, and her fellow residents about the need for clean air and soil and recognition of environmental racism. A round of applause again for Dr. Leonard.
And the District 7 awardee is Sally Petrella, and Sally was instrumental in bringing, we can applaud for Sally. She was instrumental in bringing together various members and groups within the community to form Friends of Rouge Park, to advocate for, promote, and restore the park. Friends of the Rouge organizes an annual cleanup that attracts several hundred volunteers, as well as additional volunteer projects to do things like building trails and removing invasive species. And in 2006, Sally worked with the community to oppose the sale of 115 acres of Rouge Park. You go, Sally. She has developed strong partnerships with the City of Detroit and many organizations within the city. These relationships have led to the development of a master plan for the park, which includes projects such as tree plantings, nature and mountain biking trails, 2 grant-funded interpretive trails, a youth camping initiative, and a whole lot more. Sally's passion and advocacy work has helped to protect, promote, and improve this beautiful natural park. Congratulations, Sally. And we'd like to welcome the lady in red, our City Council President Brenda Jones. The next category is the Business Awards, which are recognizing businesses in the community working towards creating a sustainable business in the city of Detroit. And the first award goes to, I love this name, Strawberry Solar. This is a pioneering solar energy company in Detroit that provides excellent service to nonprofit organizations such as Huda Garden and the Cass Community Services to become more energy independent. They have partnered with Wayne State University to develop battery-operated off-grid solar systems for community garden water storage and pumping systems that give neighbors access to power and promote solar in neighborhoods. Congratulations, Strawberry Solar. Scott.
The next award goes to the Cobo Center. Cobo Center has significantly invested in adjusted operations to prioritize sustainability for each event and ongoing basis for facility operations. Cobo Center currently holds multiple industry and local recognitions for waste reduction, energy and water efficiency, and is becoming an industry-recognized destination for green events. The Cobo Center Green Team meets regularly to advance the operations and discuss adjustments for growth. Cobo Center is currently exploring a comprehensive food rescue plan as well as an energy efficiency study. In 2018, Cobo Center formalized a donation program which has diverted over 50 tons of waste from landfills and incinerators and has redistributed valuable materials back into the community. Let's get a round of applause for the Cobo Center.
All right, the next group of awardees are for community leaders across the city. And the first award goes to Nicholas Leonard. As the executive director of the Great Lakes Environmental Law Center, and before this position, attorney Nicholas Leonard has always been a dedicated legal advocate for many environmental organizations over the years. His team always does a thorough job of researching the issues and presenting a sound and strong legal case for many environmental organizations that could not otherwise afford legal counsel. So thank you for all that you do, Mr. Leonard.
All right, the next award goes to Leslie Tom. Leslie is another champion for sustainability. She is ready to participate in every conversation on how to make spaces better for people by way of green planning and implementation. Leslie is hungry for excellence by way of sustainability and is a leader in the community on how passion can pave the way for success. Leslie's work can be seen firsthand in the work being done at the Science Center and the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. Don't go anywhere, Leslie. Leslie, not done yet. Leslie, we're not done yet. But also really exists in the network she brings together through these important conversations. So once again, a hand for Leslie Tom.
The next award goes to Brian Peterson Roast. Brian. He is a champion for conservation. Over the course of the past 3 years, Brian has worked with local community organizations, individuals, and businesses to install and maintain over 100 beehives in Southeast Michigan, all on top of teaching elementary school and college courses. He is a true leader in the community who focuses on education and impact and has built a great model for both with his nonprofit Bees in the D. The last Community Leader Award goes to North Corktown Neighborhood Association. North Corktown.
Except we don't never have. All right.
And I'll just read here, the North Corktown Neighborhood Association is a fierce group of community advocates who work to steward, preserve, beautify, and protect green space in the area. The association just completed a community visioning plan that prioritizes sustainability and community engagement. Their work is crucial now more than ever as the neighborhood begins to see increased interest from developers. So let's give another round of applause for North Corktown Neighborhood Association. Our next award is for Outstanding Youth in the City.
Our youth award goes to Spirit Miller Davis. Now, Spirit has been an active youth with Smallville Learning Farms and Sustainable Community Farms since she was 5 years old. She has been heavily involved in the transformation, progression, and the design of the farm. Spirit also led volunteers in workday cleanups and plant days, always encouraging her friends and family members to get involved as well. Let's hear it one more time for Spirit. This is the future, everybody. This is our future right here. Now let's give that one a standing ovation.
Right. Now we have a special acknowledgement award. It goes to the late Mama Lila Kabil. Yes. And receiving the award in her honor is her daughter, Abina. A lifelong Detroiter, water warrior, transit advocate, civil rights activist, anti-racism educator, mentor, and grandmother to us all. Among her many life achievements, Mama Lila became a mentee and close friend of Rosa Parks and served as president of the Rosa and Raymond Parks Institute for Self-Development. She wanted to pass on her lifetime of learning to future generations. As our elder and a Black woman deeply committed to racial justice, Mama Lila is leaving behind a tremendous legacy. Let's stand and give her a round of applause. And the last award of the day is our Lifetime Achievement Award. and it's going to John Erb of the Erb Family Foundation. What's he doing? All right, John began working at Erb Lumber as a stock boy at the age of 12 and progressed through all aspects of the business over his 38 years with the company. He has dedicated his life to the family foundation after his parents established the foundation due to their concern for the environment and their love of the arts. John has played an instrumental role at the foundation and the support that has been provided to the city. Many organizations have received funding from the foundation, and we believe the Green Agenda would not be as far along as it is without their support. John is taking on a new role at the foundation as chairman and CEO. So thank you to John Erb. All right, let's give another round of applause to all of our awardees today. All right, and we're going to have remarks by our city council members, starting with Gabe Leland.
Thank you, and good morning to each and every one of you. To our awesome awardees and to everyone that came out today, just wanted to give a green thank you. This is just a great day today as we look to move this city into the direction we all know it can be, and that is one of sustainability. Isn't that right? Yeah. So wanted to just lend a thank you to the hard work that's taking place all throughout this city. To each and every one of you. It's our opportunity now to go back to our communities and talk to our organizations and keep this momentum live and strong. Big shout out to our awardee out of District 7, Miss Sally Petrella. If some of you have not spent time over at Rouge Park, it's an incredible park and one that if her work, she hadn't let the footprint, we probably wouldn't have the Boy Scouts that are bringing 10,000 of their members, of their scouts all throughout this country to Rouge Park this coming summer. And we're very thankful about that. And a big part of the dedication at Rouge Park is because of Sally, and we appreciate you and just keep up the good work. Thank you so much, everyone.
And next we have Councilman Andre Spivey.
Good morning. Let me first say how proud I am of my colleague across the table, Councilmember Scott Benson and his staff and the Green Task Force here in the city of Detroit. Can we give Scott Benson a hand? Thank you, Bill, for all the work you do. Dr. Dorsey, phenomenal speech. I was so inspired by your speech that I'll never look at the sun again the same way when the clouds go away. Last year when I was here, I told you all the story of my mother-in-law who lives in Saginaw, Michigan. And they have recycling there. And when we visit, she says, you store everything in one bag. And it really got to me. And we've never had an argument in 20 years. And so I sat her down last Christmas. I said, Mother, you have to do better. I said, your grandchildren are growing up, their children are coming, and she'll be here in about a couple of hours for the Easter weekend. I'm happy to say, since the last time we met last year, I convinced her to separate her recyclables from everything else. And so I've done my part for 1 year. Congratulations and God bless you, and let's sustain our earth.
And next we have City Council President Brenda Jones. And I told him earlier, before you got here, first of all, thank you to all the council members for presenting me with the Spirit of Detroit Award. But I told him how you were one of the cohorts behind that surprise party. And if you've seen any of the Facebook photos and the video, my mouth was wide open. It was like they really got me. I felt bad because I'm a reporter. I thought I was going to be able to sniff that out, but they really pulled one over on me.
Thank you all. Good morning. And what a great morning, although it is raining outside. First, let's give it up to Scott Benson, Councilmember Scott Benson. And then let's give it up to our reporter and journalist, Vicki Thomas. So let me just say, it is truly a good day as we celebrate Earth Day, as we look at everything the Greening Task Force has done, and Member Scott Benson, and how he has helped move things forward to make this city a greening city. And so again, I have to commend my colleague and say thank you to Councilmember Benson, and thank you to all of you who help every day in what you do to make this city a green city. You know, as I was driving in, I started thinking about the closing of the incinerator. And I thought about the meeting that I had with the new owners as they came into my office, and if anybody knows me, I don't bite my tongue with what I have to say. And I said to them how the city was not happy with the things that have happened with the incinerator. And I talked about the asthma, I talked about bronchitis, and the things that we have going on in the city. I talked about Marathon, I talked about the people that stayed out in that area and the things that they endure, and just the people who stay in the area of the incinerator, and how it does not just affect those people, it affects the entire city. Because when the wind blows, guess what? We all get it. We all get it. And I am one that suffered both with bronchitis and with asthma. And I look at the people who walk around with inhalers, and I've not always had bronchitis and not always had asthma, but the things that you endure as you try to live your life, and the things that you have to inhale and breathe. I think about all of the places that we go into, and forgive me if you are a smoker, but that are not smoke-free, and how we have to deal with second, third-hand smoke, and we're not even smokers. I think about the people that don't recycle, and all of the waste that is in the air. And so, to those that worked at the incinerator who will not have a job and who have been there for 20 and 30 years, who's out here looking for a job, let's think about those two and the things that they endured while they were in the incinerator, but let's try to help everyone know what is best for your health, what is you're breathing in, because you are what you're breathing in. You are what you are breathing in, and it affects you daily. So again, I'm going to take my stand and say thank you to all of you. Thank you to all of the sponsors. Again, I look forward to partnering with Member Scott Benson, as we're looking at doing something different as the incinerator has closed. So I look forward to partnering with him, and I look forward to working with all of you as we make this city a greener city. And we're going to start off, and Member Benson preached it at the budget hearing. We're going to try to start off in our own front yards, wherever that front yard might be. If it's at your job, talk to your employers about trying to make the atmosphere you're in a greener atmosphere. Wherever you're at, if it's at your home, talk to your family members. When you start talking about a young 5-year-older starting, and sometimes it starts with the kids telling their parents what they should not do. But let's all take our part in making this city a greener city, a more healthier city, and a better city for all of us. So again, thank you all. Thank you, Member Benson, and thank you, Vicki Thomas, for helping make this a wonderful, enjoyable program.
And now we have some closing remarks from Councilman Scott Benson. Scott?
All right. All right, so we promised we'd get you out of here by noon. We got a couple minutes left. So I got a couple of things I just want to say, and I have one more impromptu award I want to give and to celebrate something that we've done very recently at City Council. So number one, what I heard today from Dr. Dorsey's speech was a call to action. How many of you heard a call to action this morning? All right, let's get a round of applause for that call to action. So when I talk about being the tip of the spear, it's easy to talk the talk. But we have to be able to walk the walk. Yeah, you can clap for that one. Now, talk is cheap, but work is hard and it's expensive. And what we do at Detroit City Council is work. That's what we plan to do. So you've seen 4 city council members here today. That is 4. You need 5 votes to implement policy. So you saw 4 of 5 votes that we will need at downtown Detroit to implement green, sustainable policy in the city of Detroit, and you've heard the commitment. As many of you don't know, Council President Jones has also committed to helping in that fight for recycling as well. She has committed, yes. So our recycling subcommittee, we have a goal to hit 40% of City of Detroit households recycling by the end of the year 2020. Now, right now, we're at 27%. Now, you may think, it's not that big of a deal. That's a heavy lift. That is a heavy lift. So working with this community, working with Council President Jones, working with our recycling subcommittee. Where's our recycling subcommittee? Stand up. Don't just raise your hand, stand up. That is a goal that's been laid out before us and something that we're going to work to hit. And with the help of my colleagues and with the help of you, we're going to get there. One other item. So as many of you know, and I just written, where is Pace Energy? Where's Bali? Bali, stand up, don't be shy. So Bali Kumar, he is our Pace Energy guy. How many know what Pace Energy is? It is a financing opportunity to finance green, sustainable buildings in the city of Detroit and in Wayne County. We don't have it statewide yet, if I'm not mistaken, but we do have it in Wayne County. And Bali is one of the guys who has helped push that forward, and he's in charge of that. So one of the things that we are going to do, and in this op-ed that was written, it talks about being energy burdened. The federal government says that a household should not spend more than 6% of its annual household income on energy. Most of our residents in the city of Detroit spend 15%. That is 250% of the federal standards. That's too much. That is an energy burden household, and Pace Energy is a way to get that down. There's another way to get that down. That's called community solar. Where are the Dianes? Where are the Dianes? Diane, come on up, Diane. No, don't just stand there, come on up. So, and this is where the Green Task Force helps to set policy. So our Renewable Energy Subcommittee asked for city council support when it comes to community solar. As many of you know, some people, very powerful people, do not support community solar. But the Dianes did not stop there. They said, Scott, we demand that you support us and get city council to support community solar. This is how we can also alleviate some of the burden of our energy burden households. So today, this past Tuesday, city council with a vote of 9-0 passed a resolution in support of community solar powered electricity. So I want to make it very clear, and this is a resolution that is directly attributable to you and your advocacy, so thank you very much. When the gauntlet, and the subcommittee, the Green Task Force, when the gauntlet is thrown down, you need to be the tip of the spear. We are not going to run from that. We are going to run directly towards it, pick up that spear, and throw it again. We want to make sure the city of Detroit sets the standard. The standard follows us. We will be the tip of the spear. We will be the ones who are taking the Midwest and the country to the most sustainable green city there is. It doesn't happen overnight, and there will be fights and there will be trouble, but there will also be a great victory at the end. When there is risk taken, there are great rewards reaped. So please just remember, it takes these type of advocates, the Green Task Force, this community, and people who are engaged and involved to make this happen. And just once again, I want to thank everybody, and we still have a few more words, but I did really want to make sure that we acknowledge this type of advocacy, these wins, and the warriors who are out there in the city of Detroit doing this work and making it happen, and the friends and allies that you have amongst your elected officials who are helping in this fight as well. So once again, let's give yourselves a round of applause. And Earth Day is Monday.
And we have some final remarks from Kerwin Wimberly. And Kerwin, outstanding job organizing this. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you for everyone for coming. Just want everyone to know that we're starting a movement in the city of Detroit, and the color of the movement is green. We are starting a movement, and we will not be at the end any longer. We will move to the front. With your help and with all of our putting things together, we will get it done. Can I get an all right on that? All right. Amen. I want to thank the Green Task Force. I lean on some people a whole lot, but I want to thank you for all your work or what you do. It's phenomenal. And it's easy when I'm working with such talented, passionate people that's part of the Green Task Force. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And that is all.
And for all of the awardees, if you want to come to the stage and take photos when we're done on stage,
And
you're
the
more
Green
than
Task Force members.
and the Green Task Force members also. And I would love to do interviews with some of the awardees, especially Sally from Rouge Park and our student awardee, and definitely our keynote speaker. But if you could meet me at the front of the room, any of the awardees that are willing to do an interview for WWJ. And it was a great morning. Thank you all for being here. I really enjoyed it. It was worth rolling out of bed this morning. Thank you.